Okay, today's Sunday and we're back to the F2 project. Last we spoke, I was completely stuck on the wire diagram, but I've managed to figure out something in reference to this. Alright, this cable right here controls the rear brakes. It supplies power to it when you pull the trigger. Everything up front works, so the problem is within the harness. When I look at the colors, brown and this green with yellow, I went to the back. I found the green and yellow, but there was no brown. Come to find out that it is there. It's a different kind of brown, but the person who owned this previously spliced it and put a different kind of wire, and he mixed and matched a lot of wires, so there was a lot of confusion that came from there. Also, the signal light, he cut and spliced into different areas, so there was a lot of basically cutting and splicing going on. For some reason, I'm still not getting any power back here, so I'm not gonna kill myself. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run my own lines. I know that these two are for the brakes. I know that this pin right here, which earlier I wasn't sure where it belonged. I know this pin right here activate the turn signals, and I know this pin right here activate the turn signals. This is for the right side of the bike, this is for the left side. So I just need this blue wire right here and this orange wire right here. I'm gonna splice into these two and run it straight to the back, and I'm gonna splice into these two right here and run it to the back. So what I have now is one of these will be constant brake, one of them will be brake only when I apply the brake lever. This one of them will be signal, and the other one will be signal also. All I have to do is ground the second part of the light and it'll work. So that's all I need. So I'm gonna need I'm gonna need 5 wires. Yep, 5 wires. Alright, so I'm about to run to Walmart, and when I get back I'll start working on it, and the next update you guys should be a completed wiring system, and that's it. Here I am again on the F2 project. I was about to run to Walmart, started the car, about to go, then I don't know why I thought about it. I realized I never checked the ground on the bike. I assumed that the ground that was in existence already somehow worked. So what I did was I used the multimeter, connected the ground to the battery, and tapped into the source wires. One is constant and one is supposed to be active only when I pull the brakes. And once I did that, I'm getting 12 volts for each of these wires. So what that means is basically the ground that everything's connected to, the guy connected everything to this ground piece right here. Look at that. I just touched it, it fell apart. So now this might have been the culprit. right here. This is supposed to be the ground. He has it connected to his whole system. So there was a break in the line and I missed it. But it was taped up. I didn't realize it until now. So once I touched it, this was the first time I was touching it on camera, and it just basically fell apart. So the reason I don't have any rear brake was because I didn't have any ground connected to it. And it took me, overall, I would say, from yesterday to today, 3 hours to figure this out. And I basically had to do spot and checks throughout the system. Without the multimeter, I would have never been able to figure these things out. This thing right here is the best. So 4 hours later, I figured out what the culprit was, and I started up front, thinking it was mostly a problem up front, since that's where the accident transpired, that's where the wires was mangled. But the culprit turned out to be in the rear, just the lack of ground. And basically I worked it systematically, as I mentioned earlier. I checked the fuse, I traced all the wires from the components that I needed, like the brakes, the lights and everything, and I traced everything back to the harness, and I kept checking everything, and I was getting power all the way until I got to the back of the bike, and there was no brakes or anything in the wires, so I could not understand why I wasn't getting any power. So that's why I stated I was just going to run my own lines from the front, but I didn't really want to do that. But that would have been the end result if I couldn't figure out the culprit. But again, the culprit was just a stupid loose wire that wasn't connected, and it looked like it was connected, but it wasn't. So today was a long day. I'm on debate to see if I want to finish it now or maybe another day. But I'm a little excited because I got power. Alright, Sabotage signing off for now.